Good morning, everyone. And maybe it's evening or daytime, whatever. This class is a healing class for those who feel that they'd like to have some input to stimulating the lymphatic system and raising their immune system, feeling better. So on that note, I have made some hot water, which I put in a cup. And I'm going to use my Echinacea Plus tea, which is made by Traditional Medicines. It's a nice tea. I'm going to open up the package, drop it into my hot water. And we'll let it steep for a little bit. Put the lid back on and put it on my saucer. Set it down. Another thing I do is I use essential oils. Today I'm going to add frankincense to tea tree oil. The tea tree oil is antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, as essential oils are. And I'm not a doctor, so make sure you clear things with your doctor or your health professional. I am going to put this on my neck, stroking downwardly and behind my ears. And then under my nose. I love stimulating my olfactory nerve and nerve number 13, the cranial nerve 13, which has to do with primal smell. Primal smell as in, your body smell, what attracts you to your mate or doesn't attract you. I'm going to put some of this on my elbow crease. Add some more. Frankincense is very good for the brain. I once listened to a seminar and the woman had a tumor in her brain. And she just used frankincense all the time, all day long. And she was able to get rid of her tumor. So you can use the frankincense. I like something that's affordable, which is this brand. Now, it's called Now. So if you have some water, plain water, or some hot water, you can make your tea. I also have my plain water, which I fill every day with my new purification filter, which has 4 different cartridges. I think one is for fluoride, one is for chloride, one is for sediment, one is for pollutants, and maybe viruses. Anyway, it's a good one. I think it's called Spring or S-Spring. And I'd like to show you another idea, which is to take your blood sugar. You can find out more about this if you come to my class on the 7-day keto challenge, which I offer every couple of months. And we take our blood sugar as a way to make sure you're not adding any stress to your body with too much sugar. That will cause inflammation. And inflammation causes diseases like insulin resistance and diabetes and even cancer, which lives on sugar. At least a lot of cancers live on sugar. It can cause heart disease, plaque formation in the blood vessels, and even brain issues like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. So if you can get a Keto Mojo, I like the Keto Mojo. I've already cut my strip. So I'm going to put your glucose strip in first. It turns on automatically. And I have my lance. Here's my lance. I don't know if you know about the lance. Anyway, the higher the number, the more intense the pressure of pricking. And it's not very painful. So I pull down on the lever here at the bottom, and then I'm going to push the button. And I use the outside of my fingertips. I get more blood if I do more closely to the center, but they tell you to do the outer side. So if you're beginning, just try the outer side. This is the last 3 fingers that you don't use so much. So here we go. I'm going to flick it. And that's all it is. Put that back. Squeeze a little blood. You can see that. There you go. Then I take the brown strip. I'm doing it. I can't see it quite, so I hope I'm there. I'm going to move it up. There, it goes right into the meter strip. And we're counting down. My blood sugar is 91. That's okay for fasting blood sugar. I haven't had any food. I'm going to take that out right away. And I'm going to put the blue one in, which is measuring the ketones. The ketones are the byproduct of your fat in your body. And I am playing around with my ketone numbers right now. I expect my ketones to be low. Unfortunately, I like them to be high. But I'm working with a certain situation, so I'm listening to different advice about lowering cholesterol. And oh, that's a good reading, 1.1. So I'm probably in a mild ketosis. Yay. There's different theories about cholesterol. So I try to meld it all together because I know that there are specialists in every field, and a lot of specialists screaming about keeping your cholesterol low. But I like Dr. Mercola's ideas that it's about the ratio, that you take your total cholesterol divided by the good cholesterol, the HDL, and you take your LDL, which is supposedly the bad cholesterol, you divide that by your good cholesterol, and you take your triglycerides and divide that by your cholesterol. And generally, if you're below 3.5 in that relationship of the higher of one to the other in that division, that's the ratio you want to stay below. So you can text me or call me or join me on my seminars, and I can get more information. I'm going to sip my tea. Very tasty. Nothing's in there. No sugar, no honey, no nothing. Oh, that's really tasty. So let's go back to our lymph system. Oh, that tastes really good. I'm going to stroke down and drain the brain. That's good. And massage the neck, stimulating the lymph. Breathing, I'm thinking of releasing. I've been helping Bonnie with her seminar on the nervous system as a chat fairy. I get in those chats and I talk to people on the chats while the seminar is continuing. And we've been working with the weight of perception. What is the weight of perception? What is the weight of consciousness? And you can play around with those concepts. One way of looking at it is, what do I carry inside me that has weight to it? And you may be sad about something or holding on to something that's been bothering you. Now you can just follow along as I talk. We're going to stroke different parts of our body to help with the lymph movement in the body, so we can increase our immune response. I'm going to start opening here the channels, the terminus here, and then drawing the fluid starting on the right side across the chest wall and into the terminus, which is at the subclavian vein, or meets there, and go down into the heart where it gets recirculated. And I'll be talking about more about this idea of the weight of perception as we stroke through different parts. Just follow along. Here are your lymph nodes. So you may have something that you're carrying that's heavy in your heart, and that could be a part of not feeling so great if you're not feeling so great. So I want you to take, in your imagination, think about something, or you could actually take an object. Now notice I'm going one section at a time. So I started at the top, then I worked into the lymph nodes, then I worked the upper arm into the lymph nodes, into the top, then I worked the forearm into the upper arm, into the lymph nodes, into the chest wall, and into the permanent, and then add your hand. So I'm going to go back to that subject of the weight of perception. Yeah. So if you perceive something that's heavy, you can take an object like this cup of tea. It has a weight to it, has a certain weight to it. And you're just going to put your cup of tea down or your bottle of water and let it go. Yeah. Just going to let that go. And if you close your eyes while you're massaging your chest wall, see if you can visualize that object that you were just holding. And imagine what it was like to have that weight in your hand. Now I'm doing the lymph nodes under my left arm. And then remember that you put that weight down. I know, do you see that weight down where you put it? Or do you see it that you're still holding it? Or you have a memory of holding it? So let's go back and pick it up. Take another sip. You're going to put it back down. This time, let it go. Close your eyes. I'm working the upper arm into the lymph nodes, into the chest wall, and into my heart, recirculating. Let that image go. Let's see if you can remember that you put it down. Visualize what it was like to set down that weight. I'm stroking the forearm now and going to the upper arm and the armpit, lymph nodes across the chest wall. So you can open your eyes if you want and stroke the hand to the forearm, the upper arm. And then your mind's eye, if you want to close your eyes again, you can just stroke down into your heart. Place both hands on your heart. Breathing. And imagine that you set that object down and you let it go. You're not holding on to the object. So where is the weight of perception now? Where is the weight of your consciousness? Have you let go of that perception? Have you let go of that object? Breathing, exhaling. You're not holding it. You don't have to hold it. You can set it down. And that is the metaphor for the heaviness that we may feel. You can let it down. Put it down. And you can play with this idea. If it's hard to imagine letting it down, play with holding an object and lowering the object and closing the eyes. See if you can just let it go. Very helpful skill. So we're going to return now to the rest of our body, adding the chest, massaging the chest, moving the fluid in the chest. You might feel it going in one circle in one direction is better for you, or going in the other direction is better for you. You can do the other side. I find that very helpful. And play with a different direction. Good. Let's go into our intestines, going up on one side, across and down. I'm going up on my right side. That's the way the intestinal tract goes. It goes up on the right, under the ribs, and down on the left. So if you have any abdominal pain or issues, you can massage yourself there, and that will help you. It should help you. Or if your stomach's bothering you, you can draw down a little bit. Stomach is here on the left side, so you can draw down. For those who have issues with the stomach. And then you come back to your intestines. Be kind to yourself. Let go of your stress. Let's stimulate the kidneys. Those are our power cells. Use your knuckles on your kidneys. Kidneys are little, they're not completely symmetrical. It's a lower bit, it's a lower on the, mine feel a little lower on the right, my kidney on the right, on my right, because the liver's above it, but more in front. This is in the back. Liver's more in the front here. But anyway, that all fit in there perfectly. Just think of that. I have a perfect body. Think of that. And let's go to the right groin, massaging there in the lymph nodes, drawing up your foreleg towards the lymph nodes there. One section at a time. And you could add your foreleg. And drawing up to the lymph nodes. And if you want to add your foot, your toes, and your ankle, slowly drawing up. It's a light touch. And now let's take a moment. There is a structure called the primitive streak. Primitive streak. And that begins in an embryo. So when you are about a week or 2 weeks in development, you have a streak that's called the primitive streak. It's a growth streak. It establishes the center of your body along with the notochord. So first the primitive streak, which comes up most of the way and then starts to root downwards and form roots in a way, while the notochord, which is your essential organizing unit for the embryo, is growing upward. So I want you to feel that lengthening, an axis is forming, gives you your center line, and you can move around your center line like so. Just take a few minutes to feel like you're floating, you're in the water. Everything's moving up, out the top of your head. You're suspended. And then let's go into the left side, into the lymph nodes here. Massaging. And what are the lymph nodes? The lymph nodes are collecting points, collecting actual nodules where the lymphatic system locally can drain itself, because the fluid can go into the lymph node where the lymph node cleans that tissue, cleans whatever that lymph fluid is carrying, cleans it out, and then frees you of some of those metabolites you don't need anymore. Going up the leg. All the way up the primitive streak into the notochord. So finding the height and the length of your body and your spine. Sometimes what I do is find something to stand against. So I'm going to turn the computer in a bit. I don't know if you can see over my plant, but I have a piece of wood here. And in my image of lengthening, I'm going to draw my navel into the spine. And my feet are against the wall. My heels are touching the wall. This a little bit. Oh, you can't see it, but my feet are against the wall, my heels. And I'm feeling the upwardness of that notochord And there's also ligaments on the front of the spinal column and the back of the spinal column. Those ligaments are called the anterior and posterior longitudinal ligaments, if you're interested. And just feel everything lifting out the top of your head. This is where the Buddhists eject their souls. They practice ejecting their souls when they pass from a living to a dying state. So you want to have your open spot here at the top so you can practice when the time comes. Ejecting your soul. Right now, I'm enjoying my soul. So I'm lifting my body, feeling the top of my head open. Good. So you might want to stretch, lifting the arms up. I'm going to bring the computer back to center. We're going to add a little yoga ideas here, some yoga ideas. You're going to turn to the side, take a lunging position, and bend your knees. See if you can keep the 90-degree angle here, where your knee is bent 90 degrees and doesn't go forward, but it stays back. Maybe hard to see it. And then you can straighten the front leg. You can play with bending forward, stretching the back, stretching the hamstrings, stretching the calf, not really stretching the hamstring so much here. You can come back into center. You can draw your hands on the inner thighs and up to center, up the top. Shift over to the other side, bending the knee behind you, keeping your front knee over the toes, not beyond the toes. Good. Does that feel good? And now let's bend over a little bit. Let your arms hang. My back is flat. And I am bending my knees, so there's no strain on my back. I'm actually stretching my hamstrings here. So if I turn sideways, you'll see it like this. My knees are bent, so I'm not hurting my back. And I'm playing with the lengthening of my hamstring. Now I'm going to relax forward. If this doesn't hurt you, it's okay. Some people avoid bending forward because it hurts their back. It presses the disc. So don't do anything that hurts. Just hang out here for a minute. Breathing fully. And shift your weight to the front leg. I'm going to change the computer a bit. Shift your weight forward over your front leg. That's it. And then shift your weight back. Shift your weight forward. You're stretching on the inner thigh here. But if you have a mat, you can open your mat. And we'll lie on the floor. I'll bring the computer down. Now you're welcome to play with your weights if you have a weight that you want to work with. I'm also going to recommend, I like the vitamin shop. So I've got my vitamins in a big bag here. I'm going to take some vitamin D. I like an elevated, well, it's not really elevated, but I like to keep my vitamin D levels around 90. You can have a range of 30 to 90. So I like the upper ranges. Helps to protect against breast cancer. That's what I feel. And builds your immune system. So I take 5,000 a day. If I'm not feeling great, I'll take more. I like the Jarrow product. I don't endorse generally any kind of company. I'm not getting paid, or I don't have any affiliation. Just telling you what I do. Okay, you have to talk to your doctor. They also like to take a whole bag of things here. I like to take magnesium. When you're feeling ill, magnesium is great. Also vitamin A. And you can take up to 10,000 IUs of vitamin A, 10,000 IUs. Or if you're working with virus, you think you've got virus, you can take viruses, you can take a little more. You can call me for my personal recommendations. Again, I'm not a doctor. And I also like, if you have a virus that's coated, fatty coating, the L-lysine can be helpful. So if you want to take L-lysine, you can do that. I have a lot of wonderful things in here. I take zinc. I take some zinc. I take different brands of zinc. This happens to be zinc picolinate by Solgar. I take a low dose that you really don't need more than 15 milligrams of zinc a day, according to my readings. I realized I should show you my book because you probably don't know where I'm coming from. You might want to check out my book. The 10 Best Way to Supercharge Your Health. You'll get more ideas and understanding about what I think you could do to help your body. I'll put that aside there. I want to get a B vitamin. So I recommend B vitamins because they help with your energy and they help with your B vitamins help with a lot of things. So you can read up on that on your own. I like to smell. Now, when I smell the B vitamin, it makes me feel excited. So I know it's good for me. That's one of the ways I work with things is how does it feel when I engage in some physical contact or smell or sense with that supplement, and that smells really good to me. If it doesn't smell good to you, don't take it. I'm not going to take my calcium right now. I love this product, Bone Up. That's just enough for me. I'm for sure going to take my Ester C. And this is a non-acidic form of C made by a company called American Health. This particular one does not have the bioflavonoids. That seems to be better for me. So it's hard to find this bottle, but if you search, you'll find, you can go to Amazon and see if you can find this without the bioflavonoid. Okay, the bottles look the same, but this has only 2 bullets. The one with bioflavonoids has 3 bullets there, 3 lines of text. That's one way to identify it. Okay. I have Super K by Life Extension. I have Selenium. that's very helpful for your thyroid. In fact, I might take one right now. That has no smell, so, or you might find it does for you. But. Okay, thank you for your patience with me. Do a little bit more. If you want to get warmer, you can put on your shirt or wrap it around your shoulders. And we'll tilt that downward like so. Let's see. Let's work with establishing your circulation. So if you want to take off your shoes, we can start with your feet, massaging your toes and your arches. You have different reflex points according to reflexology on your feet. I'm going to keep my socks on, keep my feet warm. I'm just massaging the arches. The arches represent your spine. Your big toe represents your head. You can massage your toes, your big toes. You can massage the tips of your little toes that represents your sinus. And I have a nice hole in my sock that represents wear and tear. All right, I like all those little special additions and subtractions. Okay, massaging your arch. I'm going to do a little bit like this so you can see my fingers moving. I am a licensed massage therapist in New York State, and I teach movement, dance, exercise. You could join us on Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings at 9:30 New York time, Eastern time. And now let's just massage the foreleg. They're going in an upward direction. And now I'm using more pressure than with the lymphatic touch. This is more muscular touch. And we're working the muscles. Now in body mind centering, which is a mind-blowing approach to consciousness and exploration of your tissues, created by Bonnie Bainbridge Cohen, my mentor, we could identify different tissues. Now, I'm working the muscles, but I can also work the bones, with a very different feeling. That's the bone here. I can work the lymphatics, which I showed you earlier. We were doing lymphatic work, which is much, much lighter in the touch. And I can go to the blood, which arterial blood is pumping. So these are different tissues in the body that we can identify and experience by locating them and adding our awareness to that tissue. So I'm coming up to massage the thigh, on the muscles of my thigh, working the blood flow also. Then I'm going to add the whole leg, massage from the toes all the way up. Let's do the other side. Okay, let's go. You can cross your foot if you want. Massaging the spine along the inner arch of your foot. Gets to your spine reflexes. I'm just digging in with one thumb and adding both thumbs. That feels nice. And then along inside the middle. And here we come to a kidney spot right in front of the heel bone, in the center of your foot. And you can see I have a different hole right up here. Oh, my toenails peeking through. There's something nice about wearing through your sock. Squeezing my heel bone. You can make circles if your ankle, if you want. Drawing the blood and the fluid back up along the channels. They're lymphatic channels. I'm going to do the muscles here. This muscle in the front is called the anterior tibialis. And it helps with lifting your toes, along with these extensors here, extensor digitorum and hallucis longus and brevis. Those are your toes, to lift your toe muscles. And then relax that. Try to soften that anterior tibialis muscle. Very helpful if you get leg cramps at night. And moving the fluids up the calf and the back. And you can lower your leg. Go up your thigh, massaging that way. And then start all the way at the base of the foot and stroke up. Now, if you want a lighter stroke, you can do a lighter stroke. If you want a deeper stroke, working more muscles or squeezing, you get the blood flow, the arterial blood flow, and the venous return. I guess this is more returning of the blood. So maybe that's more venous. And then let's lie on your back, on our back. And bend your knees. Take some deep breaths and feel the weight of your body on the floor, on the mat. I'll take a moment of silence. Just notice what you notice. Do you feel more weight on one pelvic calf, one part of your body? Do you feel more weight on the shoulder, or are you rounded in your shoulders so you don't feel any weight in them? Can you release the shoulders? Why don't you put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly? Just breathing. Now I'm going to slide one leg down, and then I'm going to slide the other leg down. I'm going to feel here. Is there more contact on the floor with one part of my body than another part? Just notice what you're feeling. I'm going to breathe in and stretch my arms over my head. Open the arms out to the side. Just rest. Give yourself permission to rest. And notice one side, one arm, one shoulder different from the other. Depending on how you feel, you can bring one arm around to the front, bend your knees in, rest on your side. I have to hold my earpiece in my ear. And let your top leg slide forward over your bottom leg and twist away from the bottom leg. And you may feel a stretch in the gluteal muscles. And then bring your knees together, bring them up over your body, and rock to the other side. Arms are out. Turn your head opposite of your legs. So let's stretch the top leg over the bottom leg. Holding this in my ear. Breathing, relaxing. Letting everything go here, putting down anything that you're holding on to that's heavy on you. Let it go, let it relax, let it go. And bring your leg back. Stretch to the center. Ooh, reach your heels, point your fingers down, reach from your heel, from your ankles to your wrists, stretching the fascia here. Good. Bring your hands down to your belly. And let's think about the circulation. Feel like you're in water now, either warm bath or nature, maybe in a pond if you like that image, or in the ocean, a quiet ocean. You're floating. And the circulation is moving easily. So if you want to do a figure 8 around your torso, feel like the water is moving in a figure 8 or your fluids are moving in figure 8. And think about the whole conductivity from your heart all the way down to your legs, moving through different vessels into your feet and then returning, spiral, coming back up, going through the heart. The heart is a conduit. Think of the heart as an open figure 8, and the blood is passing through it, not holding anywhere there, letting your heart be open, and the fluid and the body is open and moving, circulating all around you. So it's not one area that's pumping, your whole body is working together. So there are muscles in your artery walls, your blood vessels, and you have valves in the veins that help bring the fluid back up. So it's not all the heart that's doing all the work, it's everything working together gently as you're made to live well, a long and healthy life, and generate good feelings. Let's just stretch one. If I can do that on the other ear. Yeah, grab behind your leg, breathing, or your ankle. And you can circle the ankle. Deep breath. Squeezing that hamstring, which tends to be tight. Let's go to the other leg. Squeezing the muscles, the hamstring, the back over your thigh. You can circle the ankle, pointing your toes. You could grab your feet and open your legs, or your ankles, and open your ankles. You can play with your legs a bit. You bring the soles of your feet together, draw your heels towards the bottom of your tail, or the perineum, between your legs, and then relax, stretch out, flexing the heels, flexing at the wrist, and then bring your knees back up. You're going to lift the lower spine, tailbone, and then relax it. Then I want you to pretend you have a wrapping, which you do, of the deep layer of your abdominal muscles. That's called the transversus. And it wraps around laterally the other wall, parts of the wall, the abdominis, the rectus. It goes on the outside, it goes up, attaches to the rib cage and the pubic bone. I want you to feel the deepest layer, which is this transversus. And that brings your navel down towards your spine. When you tilt, you're using your rectus. You can let go of your rectus and just draw the navel towards the spine, and you'll feel a small movement. That's the transversus, and that's the most important one. That forms a girdle of protection for your core, keeping you strong. That's the one you want to be really developed, the deepest layer. Now, I'm engaged here, and so I'm going to add the other layers. You've got the obliques. What is externus? What is internus? They form an X on either side, an X on either side. And then you have on top the rectus. The rectus will pick up your pelvic bone, your pubis. Let's use the rectus on top of the other muscles and lift your hips all the way up. Take a deep breath. And let's roll down one vertebrae at a time. So I don't know if you can see it, but you can take your fingers and touch the top of your body, front of your body, and imagine that you're touching each vertebrae. And as you touch each vertebrae, you lay it gently on the floor. So you're moving one vertebrae at a time. And try to articulate all 27, 26 bones of your spine, including your coccyx. Here's your tailbone. Yay! How does that feel? And extend your legs, stretch over your head, breathe. Let's do a hip flexor stretch. There's a lot of stretches you can do. Right now, we're just going to stretch one leg back and then rotate your body. Let's put the toes under so you can lift the knee off the floor and twist away from the bent. Look, twist your body towards the bent knee and look back at your heel. And then you can release that, bend the knee, grab your foot, and stretch the front of your thigh. Breathing. And then you could change. Bring the other knee in. Sit for a moment, lift your chest. Tuck your toe under, lift your knee off the floor, thrusting back. Lift your chest. Turn towards the bent knee and twist. Look back at your heel. You keep your chest lifted. Keep your knee off the floor. And that's stretching the hip flexors and some of the strongest muscles in the body. To connect your legs to your spine, attaches to the disc, lumbar disc. So if you have a back problem, it's important to stretch out that hip flexor so it's not pulling your disc. Then bend your knee, stretch the front of your thigh. Breathe and then release. Sit sideways and bend both knees, tuck them over to one side, stretch your side, lift your arm over your head, and then swing both legs to the other side. If it doesn't hurt you, reach around, bending sideways. Now bring your top leg across and put your foot planted down there. So you're in a triangle pose. Wrap the front with one arm and reach back with the other arm to twist. And keep both of your hip bones down on the floor. Good, and change. Open the other leg. Wrap the front arm around the knee. Reach up. Make sure you don't strain your knees. If it's too much for you, you could put a pillow under your knees so you're higher. Just relieve the pressure if you feel too much pressure. Keep your pelvis down on the floor. And then release. Now cross your ankles to reach over to the right or the left. And you can reach over to the other side. And again. And again. Because let's open the legs. Doesn't matter if you don't have a lot of stretch. I don't have a lot of stretch. Just do what I can. Give your inner thighs a stretch, lengthening. And you can reach over. Try to keep your back flat. Bring your fingers to the front. And don't really want your back to round here. Just see if you can keep your spine long. And you should feel a lengthening in your inner thighs. Walk your fingers over to one side. Let your head hang over. And walk your fingers back to the other side. Let your mind be calm. Reaching forward and higher with the arms. Open out to the side. And let's roll onto your right side. It could be your left side, whatever's right for you. And let's take the top leg. We're going to stretch the quadricep muscle on the front of your thigh again. And if you want to slide down all the way, you can bring your leg up. Stretch the inner thigh, stretch the hamstring here. You can move your ankle around. You can bend your knee and point, bend and point. And let's do the other side. Just bring the foot behind you, bend the knee, stretch the front of the thigh. And then slide down. Let's bring the foot up in the air, extend the leg, circle the ankle, bend your knee. Breathing, relaxing, feeling the blood circulating in your body, fluid, lymphatic fluid, bringing you to a new state of lightness, feeling that everything is good in your body. Take a moment here in the cobra position. I like to protect my lower back with a gentle drawing of my navel, even in this position, towards my spine. And then you can lie flat, extend your arms, and hold your arms and legs up. You can always bring your arms over your head, extend the arms, looking downward. Bring your arms back. If you bend the knees, you might be able to grab your ankles. If not, don't worry about it. And you could lift your knees up, lift your chest, lift your head up, lift your chest up. Breathe. And relax. Push up into your cobra and sit back in child's pose. Open the knees. Lay your head down. You want to bring your legs together. It'll stretch your foreleg. If that's not comfortable, just go back to opening your knees. And then push yourself up. I want you to come onto your knees. And I'm going to move this back a little bit. You're on your knees. You're going to reach back, touch your heels with your fingers, lift your chest. Breathing. You don't have to stay there very long. You come forward. Reach back. Touch your toes, touch your heels, rather. Lift your chest. And come forward. And go back down. Put your head on the floor, round over. Relax. Your toes are touching, your knees are apart. And now, let's come over to a plank. Long spine, toes are tucked. Your weight is on your hands and your toes. breathing. Now you can go into downward dog. And you can alternate knees. Do whatever you can that's comfortable for you. So bring your right knee forward. And back. Downward dog, bring your left knee forward. And back. Do it again. Bring your right knee forward. Back. Bring your other knee forward. Now you're going to stay here and bring the back leg to join the front leg. And you can hang over. Hold onto your elbows. Look between your knees. You can swing a little side to side if that doesn't hurt you. Then put your hands flat on the mat or the floor. And then lift your back flat. You don't have to straighten your legs. Keep your legs soft. Just come up a little bit with your back flat. And then lower down. Relax everything over, looking between your knees. And lifting up with your back flat. Fingertips coming off the floor. And rolling back down. And then rolling gently up your spine, reaching the arms out to the side, lifting your arms so the palms come together at 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock position. You can't see me, so I'll move this up. And then open the arms gently up to the side. Good. And let's open the legs and swing the arms down. Palms together, stretching over your head. Breathing. Open out the arms. Bring your hands up the center. Exhale. Take a moment to stay here. Keep your knees wide open over the second toe. And then reaching forward. I like to grab everybody here. Reaching with your fingers to the edge of your screen. Thank you so much for joining. Mwah. Have a wonderful day.